going to do the icebreaker today, and I think you'll find, some of you may have done this because we've done it one other time, but I think that some people will find that this is a great icebreaker to use even at the beginning of a conversation, or at the beginning of a seminar, or if you're facilitating a meeting. It's just a great icebreaker networking thing that helps people kind of introduce themselves to each other, but also it helps to establish a positive relationship with the other person. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do, and that is to stand up and go find someone that you don't know, stand up and find someone that you don't know or haven't met, or maybe know them but not really all that well. And then I want you to introduce yourselves to each other and find 3 things that you have in common. And just so we can kind of keep track of how the group is doing, when you find your 3 things, if you're paired, raise your hands. So if you'll go ahead and find somebody that you don't know, and find things that you know.
Excellent. Yes. How are you going to come to the national meeting this year?
If they let me. Are you going to
another thing in common? Yes. We always say.
But I haven't actually, so I'm going to sit right there so that it's going down.
Christine? I write the education training courses. So that makes sure that
haven't really made a lot of jokes in a while because they're busy with this. I like it's a prayer meeting that you hold. How many beads are there's 4 beads that are the cruciform that are the cross, and then there are 4 sections of 7 beads. It represents the 33 years of Jesus' life. The cross. What about 4 seasons of the year? My daughter-in-law gave me a book.
Okay, so before we talk about the 3 things that you found in common, I want to just kind of talk about the process for just a minute. So let's talk about the process for just a minute. So what did you notice happening in the room?
Jibber jabber.
The energy went up. What else went up? Intimacy, okay. The noise level went up? Yes, okay. Was it good noise or bad noise? Good noise. How do you feel about the person that you've been speaking with? She's awesome. Isn't this your new best friend? Now, why do you think that is?
We have things in common.
And what does that do for you?
It builds rapport and trust.
Yes, not only does it build rapport, but for a few minutes it puts you on the same side of the fence, so you can view things from that same perspective. Did any of you find something that you had that was different? And what happened?
We kept looking for things we had in common.
You just went on, right? Because you had a task to do. In real life, what happens when you find that difference? Especially if it's one of those big differences, like they're the other political party, or a different religion, or oh my gosh, they're for that other sports team, something like that. What happens to the conversation then? Sometimes it stops. It's like, oh, you're that person. Okay, and that's it. This chasm opens up, and we have trouble getting across that chasm to even begin to explore things that we might have in common. So this is an activity that just kind of starts you off in that direction of establishing some things that you're on the right side, on the same side, so that you can view the problem or whatever you're talking about maybe from the same perspective. So we're also going to use this activity, and I'm going to talk a little more about the results of it, but we're also going to use this activity to introduce as a series, to introduce the International Day of Listening. And our theme this year is Be Bold, Dare to Listen. Dare to listen to find common ground. Because what we're seeing around the world is that people are finding those differences and they can't get past that. So we're not having very good conversations after that. So what were some of the things that you found that you had in common?
Volunteering.
Volunteering, training. Now, not the obvious things like, you have two eyes? I have two eyes. What were some other things you found in common?
Pets.
Yes. Pets. Things are that you found in common. They don't have to be big things. But what we find is that as you share information, trust goes up. As trust goes up, your willingness to cooperate with that person goes up. And so does your willingness to share additional information. So what we see is this increasing spiral of communication, trust, willingness to cooperate, sharing additional information, etc. Now, have any of you ever worked for someone who didn't share, your boss who didn't share information with you? And what was your reaction?
Didn't trust them.
You didn't trust them. What else?
Or you felt like they didn't trust you.
You felt like, yes, not only do you not, that you feel like they don't trust you, but you shut down. You're not sharing your information. I'm not sharing my information. So we all kind of hold our cards close to our chest. Did you trust them? No. Do you think you're at the top of your game and performance then? No, because you don't have the information that you need and you're not sharing the information. So that's a relationship that's going bad. You know, we stop sharing information, we stop trusting, we stop being willing to cooperate, we're sharing less information. So that's that's a relationship that's going this way. That's a marriage that's going south. You know, we stop talking to each other. Anyway, so if you are in a situation where you're having trouble finding a way to talk about problems, big problems, little problems, whatever, see if you can find something that you have in common with that person. And sometimes if it relates to the issue that you're dealing with. We both want to find a solution to this problem. We both want what's best for the child. We both want to help customers and employees. See, that puts you on the same side of the fence. So if you can find something that you have in common, then we can, have a bigger conversation. So what we're going to be doing in the International Listening Association over the next several months. So International Day of Listening is September 19th. And on June 19th, July 19th, and August 19th, we're going to have, and you can go to the website for International Day of Listening, and they will have activities that you can do that will teach you how to have those very difficult conversations. Because, if you just try to jump right in the same way that we've done it in the past, and we just start attacking and yelling and insisting that it be done our way, we're not going to get very far. So I have some handouts that just sort of tell you how to conduct this activity. And so if you'd like to do this with someone, it can be another person, or you can facilitate a group on June 19th, and then we'd love it if you post your pictures or your videos on the International Day of Listening website.